Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 11, Text 15 through 23. Text 15. Being forsaken by her husband, Sita Devi entrusted her two sons to the care of Valmiki Muni. Then, meditating upon the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, she entered into the earth. 16. After hearing the news of Mother Sita's entering the earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was certainly aggrieved. Although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, upon remembering the exalted qualities of Mother Sita, he could not check his grief in transcendental love. Text 17. The attraction between man and woman, or male and female, always exists everywhere, making everyone always fearful. Such feelings are present even among the controllers like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and is the cause of fear for them. What to speak of others who are attached to the household life in this material world. Text 18. After Mother Sita entered the earth, Lord Ramchandra observed complete celibacy and performed an uninterrupted Agnihotra Yajna for 13,000 years. Text 19. After completing the sacrifice, Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet were sometimes pierced by the thorns when he lived in Danda Karanya, placed those lotus feet in the hearts of those who always think of him. Then he entered his own abode, the Vaikuntha planet beyond the Brahmajyoti. Text 20. Lord Ramachandra's reputation for having killed Ravana with showers of arrows at the request of the demigods and for having built a bridge over the ocean does not constitute the factual glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, whose spiritual body is always engaged in various pastimes. Lord Ramachandra has no equal or superior, and therefore he had no need to take help from the monkeys to gain victory over Ravana. Text 21. Lord Ramachandra's spotless name and fame, which vanquish all sinful reactions, are celebrated in all directions, like the ornamental cloth of the victorious elephant that conquers all directions. Great saintly persons like Markandeya Rishi still glorify his characteristics in the assemblies of great emperors like Maharaj Yudhishthir. Similarly, all the saintly kings and all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, worship the Lord by bowing down with their helmets. Let me offer my obeisances unto his lotus feet. Text 22. Lord Ramachandra returned to his abode to which Bhakti yogis are promoted. This is the place to which all the inhabitants of Ayodhya went after they served the Lord in his manifest pastimes by offering him obeisances, touching his lotus feet, fully observing him as a father like king, sitting or lying down with him like equals, or even just accompanying him. Text 23. O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narration concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy and thus be liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Archita Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Venudas Prabhuji, please accept our humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Prabhuji, please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining for today's Bhagavatam session.
Oh, sorry. I was...
Are you able to hear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Achyut Prabhu, for reading today's Bhagavatam section slokas translations. And today we are reading from Canto 9, Chapter 11, Lord Ramachandra Rules the World, from slokas 15 to 23. And thank you, Radharani Mataji, for coordinating this call, and also thank you, Sundarana Prabhu, for giving this opportunity for my own purification. So I'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschyatta Deshatarani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah. So we are in the section of Lord Ramchandra. So in the last chapter we heard very wonderful narrations of how Lord Ramchandra appeared in the San dynasty, continuing the Maharaj Katwanga's um, dynasty. And also we heard Lord Ramachandra's divine activities, like how he killed Ravana and returned to Ayodhya, the capital of his kingdom, like that. And in this chapter, so far we heard how Lord Ramchandra performed various sacrifices by which he showed how to worship himself. And at the end of the sacrifice, we heard how is the great charity that he has done. Like he has given all the directions of the land of his kingdom to the priests who performed the yajna, and also whatever the rest of the balance that he has, it he has given to the acharyas, like that. And then we also heard like how Lord Ramchandra dressed himself like an ordinary person, and while he was wandering within the capital to understand how his citizens are thinking about the ruling, like that. So, and one night he heard a man talking to his wife, uh, um, who had gone to another man's house. And in that course of discussion, so he also spoke suspiciously the character of Mother Sita Devi. So then we heard how Lord Ramchandra returned home, and fearing such rumors, he superficially decided to give up Sita Devi company, like that. And then he banished Mother Sita Devi, who was pregnant at that time, and she was kept under the shelter of Valmiki Mahamuni. And then we heard Mother Sita Devi gave birth to twin sons, Lava and Kush. So similarly, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna also, they also got two sons. And then Bharata, so he to establish the dharma all over the earth planet. So he fought many millions of Gandharvas, and he acquired a lot of wealth and brought back to the Ayodhya and submitted to Lord Ramchandra. And Shatrughna also killed one demon called Lavanasura. Like that we heard. And now we'll go through the slokas 15 to 23. In the sloka 15, um, of course, the Ramayana is very elaborately described in the Valmiki Ramayana. But here, Sukadev Goswami is giving very brief, because Parikshit Maharaj has been heard this Ramayana for many, many times. So, so in the 15th sloka, we see that being forsaken by her husband, Sita Devi entrusted her 2 sons to the care of Valmiki Muni. Then, meditating upon the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra, she entered into the earth. So, and Prabhupada mentions in the purport that, it is impossible for Sita Devi to live in separation from Lord Ramchandra. Because I heard from a devotee that this whole pastime was arranged by the Supreme Lord Ramchandra because Mother Sita Devi wanted to experience love in separation, like how the gopis of Vrindavana got the experience when Krishna left Vrindavana to Madura, or he left Rasa dance, like that. So, and then Mother Sita Devi entered into earth and entrusted her 2 sons, Tanayu, Lava and Kush, in the care of Valmiki Muni. And after hearing this news, Mother Sita Devi entering into the earth, of course, Lord Ramchandra was very aggrieved, and by remembering Mother Sita Devi exalted qualities, so he was could not able to check his grief in transcendent love. Of course, Mother Sita Devi's exalted qualities when she appeared in this earth planet were displayed a glimpse of that, like how her love towards the Supreme Lord, Lord Ramchandra, is undeviated. Um, so even though when she was kidnapped and kept in the Ramanasura's Ashokavana, though Ramanasura offering so many things, but her heart was with Lord Ramachandra only. So that commitment to her husband, the surrender to Lord Ramchandra shows her love. Similarly, her chastity. So she says that through her chastity she can burn Ravanasura and his Lanka also. But since she doesn't have Lord Ramchandra's order, so she's holding on it. So it shows that our chastity, like how she follows the orders of Lord Ramchandra, like that. And so many other qualities like mercy. When Hanumanji wanted to punish the demonesses who tormented Mother Sita Devi while she was in Ashokavana. So, but Mother Sita Devi stopped him and saying that, they were all only following the Ravana's orders. So it's not that they are doing something because they don't like her or like that. And so similarly, so many things, so willing to sacrifice, though she was born in a royal family and got married to the prince, still she immediately went with Lord Ramchandra and embraced the austerity of the life, staying in the forest with her husband, like that. So, and also she shows the simple living and high thinking, like she loves to be close to the nature, and she finds happiness in the simple beauty of nature, like that. So many exalted qualities. So those were remembered by Lord Ramchandra here, and then he was feeling very grief. So, and Prabhupada also mentions in the purport that so whatever Lord Ramchandra's grief that she is feeling, so it's not to be considered as a material. So it's a feeling of separation. So they're all transcendental, and it will give bliss. The Prabhupada says that that is also called Tasya Prema Vasyata Swabhava. That's a sign of the um, love that is controlled by the devotees under the influence of Hadini Shakti. So these are all the things that will happen, like so similarly we hear like young gopis feeling separation, or Krishna also goes through that similar feeling of separation from gopis while he was in Dwarka, like that. So these are all transcendental grief, so which would give a great bliss to the devotees, like that. But of course in the material world it is perverted. So that is the grief that they go through is a suffering, like that. And in the next sloka, the attraction between a man and woman, or male and female, so always exists everywhere, making everyone fearful. And Prabhupada mentions that in the purport that the feelings of love and transcendental bliss in the spiritual world. So they will give bliss, but in the material world, the same feelings of love or the attraction between man and woman, that will cause bondage. So when there is a bondage, then one would go through the birth and death, the cycle of birth and death. So then they will go through that suffering. So, but the attraction between man and woman, so in the transcendental world, so it gives bliss only. So that's why we see that even though in the Vaikuntha planets, the man and woman, they were very beautiful compared to the man and woman in this material world. So millions and millions of times of greater, but still they are not attracted to each other. So they are not agitated by their senses to enjoy the sense gratification activities, but they come together to serve the Supreme Lord or to glorify Him like that. So Prabhupada mentions that so if the man and woman come together and glorify the Krishna, then that would break the bondage. But if they looking for sense gratification, then it will cause the bondage, and then they will go through the janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha anudarshanam like that. So that's why in the spiritual world there is no fear of birth, because those feelings will only give the blissfulness like that. And then after Mother Sita Devi entered the earth, so Lord Ramchandra performed uninterrupted Agnihotra Yajna for 13,000 years. So this uninterrupted Agnihotra for 13,000 years, so he performed it. So similarly, of course, in this Kali Yuga, of course, this is Treta Yuga, so Ajato Makai. So in the Treta Yuga, the recommended process is to perform the Yajnas. But in the Kali Yuga, Kalau Tad Hari Kirtana. So to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So of course, even though we may not be able to perform uninterrupted Sankirtan Yajna in this Kali Yuga period of time, I'm talking to myself, but whatever Prabhupada gave, the simple process of chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and following 4 regulative principles, and being in the association of the devotees and serving the Supreme Lord and His devotees, if we can able to do that, then so we'll be able to make our human life successful, or we can get the same result as one would get in performing the yajnas in the Treta Yuga. So then in the 19th sloka, after completing the sacrifice, so Lord Ramchandra, whose lotus feet were sometimes pierced by thorns when he lived, placed those lotus feet in the hearts of those who always think him. Then he entered his own abode, Vaikuntha planet, beyond the Brahmajyoti. Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so the devotees, what is their subject matter of meditation? Is lotus feet. So Abhaya Charana Aravindare. So Bhajaho Ramana Srinandanandan Abhaya Charana Aravindare. So they meditate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So when they were meditating on the lotus feet, if they think of that Lord Ramachandra wandering in the forest, Dandakaranya, and the thorns are pricked his lotus feet like that. Of course, Lord Ramachandra doesn't feel pain or pleasure of this material world. So whatever the pleasure and he is feeling, it's all transcendental. So, but the devotee is thinking that so it is giving pain to Lord Ramchandra, so they will faint. So that much the pure devotees has that much devotion, love towards the Supreme Lord. So that's why they feel very unhappy. Like King Kulashekara, we see that when King Kulashekara hears some pastimes where they are not very joyful pastimes of Ramayana, then he will feel very sad. So because King Kulashekara has a great devotion to Lord Ramchandra's lotus feet, so he wanted to see Lord Ramchandra's joyful pastimes only. So that's why the ministers of King Kulashekara arranges the priest only to talk about the all joyful pastimes, like Lord Ramchandra ruling coronation or ruling the Ayodhya very nicely, like those kind of things. And Prabhupada mentions that this was the attitude of the gopis. So when they think of Krishna wandering in the forest without shoes, and they think that, if the pebbles or grains of sand pricking the lotus feet of Krishna, so he would feel pain. So thinking that gopis would feel unhappy like that. And Prabhupada mentions that this kind of heart of a pure devotee cannot be understood by any other ones, karmis or jnanis or yogis like that. And then Prabhupada mentions in the purport that the Atma Jyoti, like, the Vaikuntha planet beyond the Brahma Jyoti. So Prabhupada mentions that Brahma Jyoti is something that is greatly appreciated by Jnanis because they want to enter into the Brahman effulgence. But it is nothing but the rays of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada quotes Brahma Samhita Sloka, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato, like that. So that is the glowing effulgence of the Supreme Lord, which is impersonal Brahman. But going into the spiritual world, the devotees who goes to the spiritual world, they cross this Brahma Jyoti also. This Prabhupada gives analogy like, to enter into the sun, one should go through the sunshine. So this sunshine is like a Brahma Jyoti. So when one enters into the Vaikuntha planet, so they cross this Brahma Jyoti and goes into that. Like how if one enters into the sun planet, they cross the sunshine or they go through the sunshine like that. And Prabhupada mentions that even the Jnanis who wanted to be merged into the Brahman effulgence, so even though after merging also, because they haven't taken the shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, so they will fall down. Aruhya Kruchena Param Padam Tata Patante Adho Anamrata Ismat Angraya. Prabhupada quotes this Bhagavatam sloka saying that so though they are elevated to Brahma Jyoti, but they will fall down because they haven't taken the lotus feet of the shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And the next sloka, here we see that Lord Ramchandra's reputation for killing Ravanasura at the request of the demigods, for having built a bridge over the ocean. So it doesn't constitute the factual glory of the Supreme Lord, because his spiritual body who is always engaged in various pastimes. And another thing is mentioned here, he has no equal or superior. So that's why he doesn't need to take help from the monkeys to gain victory over Ravana. Of course, Lord Ramchandra performing pastimes as an ordinary human being, showing that how an ordinary human being can achieve great things. So he took help of monkeys, but he's the Supreme Lord. He doesn't need it any help. And he has no equal or superior. And Prabhupada quotes this Svetos Upanishad, Natsat samas cha adikas, like that. So he has no equal or superior. And he has so many energies, Parasya Shaktir Vibhadhaiva Shruyate. So they are all so many energies, and they are all also aligned with his desires. Swabhavika Jnana Balakriyacha. So aligned with his desires. So as soon as he desires, all his energies will perform it. So of course, he doesn't have any task or activity to do in this material world. So there is no duty performer in this material world. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. So there is nothing, but he still appears in this material world time to time to protect his devotees and to annihilate the demons. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritanam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami yuge. So he'll come and he perform these pastimes, killing Ravanasura, like ruling the Ayodhya very nicely, celebrating his victory like that. Because so these pastimes would give pleasure to the pure devotees or the devotees who are trying to be progress in the path of bhakti. So that's why Lord Ramchandra comes and performs these wonderful pastimes, so that a conditioned living entity in this material world, when he hears these pastimes, they will attract. Janma karma chame divyam. So they will attract, and then they will start taking the process of Krishna consciousness so that they can perfect their human life. The next sloka, here that Lord Ramchandra has a spotless name and fame. It vanquishes all sinful reactions. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Mahaprabhu is thinking how these mlechas and devanas can be delivered if they don't take up the Krishna consciousness. And Srila Haridas Thakur says that, oh my Lord, don't be in anxiety. So these mlechas, devanas, they used to say harama. Harama means abominable. But the Supreme Lord is so merciful, and the holy name is so powerful that Rama, that word Rama in that Harama, so will act on them, it will destroy their sinful reactions, so that they will purify, and then they will take up the process of Krishna consciousness. So that's what it is. So this holy name of Supreme Lord Ramachandra is very powerful. It will destroy all the sinful reactions. That's why we see that, here great saintly persons like Mark and Rishi still glorify his characters in the assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira, like that. So not only that, the saintly kings, demigods, including Lord Shiva and Brahma, they worship the Supreme Lord, bowing down with their helmets. So here, the holy name is so powerful. So we hear that the author of Ramayanam also, am I right? Valmiki Mahamuni, who is a dacoit, Ratnakara, in the before he took up this process of chanting of Lord Rama's name. So on the advice of Narada Muni, he chanted this Rama's name, and then he became a great saintly personality, and he got the opportunity to compile this Ramayanam also. And then in 22nd sloka, see that Lord Ramachandra returned to his abode where the Bhakti Yogas are promoted. So here we see that so the Bhakti Yogis are promoted to the Vaikuntha planet. So, so once the practicing devotees perfect their life through this process, then Takta Deham Punarjanmana iti mameti Swajin. So they will not go back home. They will not come back into this material world. They'll go back home, back to Godhead. So here he says, we see that, the inhabitants of Ayodhya went back to home along with the Lord Ramchandra, or joined in Ayodhya of the spiritual world. So who are served the Lord in his manifest pastimes by offering his obeisances, touching lotus feet, fully observing him like a father, like king, and sitting or lying down with him like equals. Prabhupada mentions that, in Ayodhya, so the inhabitants, whoever saw Lord Ramachandra or served him, so they all also went back home, back to Godhead. Of course, so the devotees who are practicing, so based on their mood or their Ishta Devata, so after they are perfected their life, then they will join the Supreme Lord in one of the Vaikuntha planet of their Ishta Devata. So wherever they are there, like that. And then in the last sloka, so this is very wonderful sloka, and it is very inspiring. We see that here, Purusho Ramacharitam Sravaner Upadharayan Anasmamsya Paro Rajan Karma Bhander Vimuchite. Like he says that, who orally receives the narrations concerning the characters of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy, and thus liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. And Prabhupada mentions that in this material world, everyone is envious of someone else. So, and we hear so many stories and pastimes like that, am I right? So one devotee shares that, when one person got a benediction saying that whatever he desires, he will get it. But only addition is that his neighbor will get double. So he desired for a big building, so he got it. But his neighbor got 2 big buildings. So then he was very envious by seeing that. So he is not looking what he got it, but he is envious of what the neighbor got it. So because of that, he went to an extent where he desired to get rid of one leg. So he lost one leg. So the neighbor lost 2 legs. So similarly, he desired to have one eye blinded. So the neighbor got 2 eyes gone, like that. So like that, because of that envious nature, so one would be destroyed, and one will also want to be others to be destroyed. And this is one of the reason the pure spirit soul in the spiritual world falling down into the material world, Ichcha Dvesha. So when the living entity is envious of Supreme Lord Krishna, seeing that, why he is only enjoying, why not me, like that, and also having a desire to enjoy, so they will fall down into this material world. So, but when we take up this process of Bhakti Yoga, chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and listening the pastimes of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra or Krishna. So those would help us to get rid of this disease of envy. So otherwise, we have so many pastime, right? Even in the Prithu Maharaj pastime also, when Prithu Maharaj is performing 100 Aswamedha Yajnas, Lord Indra became envious. So seeing that Prithu Maharaj is performing 100 Yajnas. So then he did so many adharmic activities to stop his 100th yajna. So like that. So when one is envious, then one would do the inappropriate activities. So that's why it is very important for one to be progress in the path of bhakti, so that this envious nature will go down like that. Prabhupada mentions even a practicing devotee, when he sees other devotees are progressing nicely or they are getting nice glorification, then one would become envious. So that's why it's very important. We time to time glorify other devotees, seeing their positive, good qualities. It would help us to get rid of our enviousness. And most important, we constantly engage in the hearing and chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or hearing the Krishna Katha. So it will help us to freed from this disease of envy, and then we'll become eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. So of course I'm talking to myself. So thank you all for joining. I'll pause it here. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for very nice class. Thank you all devotees for joining the class today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.